Hello everybody, this is Chad, and this is a do-it-yourself car stereo installation video. Hope you like it. This is my 2010 Chevrolet HHR. It's been a great car. However, it does have an alien problem. They keep getting in the back. And you can see the display is all messed up. You have to hit it to get the time and everything, and then it works. But also the reception is terrible. So this is the stereo that I went with. It is a Kenwood and looks pretty nice. It's a Bluetooth, so you can do hands-free calling, which I could not do before. And it's iPhone compatible, so that's cool. And yeah, it looks really nice. It's going to be a big improvement from what's in there now. And so I also bought 2 wiring harnesses. So the one hooks up to the car that comes from the car and goes into the radio. So this is a radio harness. This is the GM harness for the car. And I already started to wire these up. I'll show you. I'm using these connectors like this, which come in a box like this. These are solder seal wire connectors. So you just put the wire through each side of these, and then you heat them up, and it automatically solders it. So I got my heat gun here, and you just heat them, and they look like this. Whoop. Once it's done, I won't do a whole video of that because there's a bunch of videos on how to do these, and it would just be very tedious. So yeah, you just hook the wires together, and this shrinks it and makes it waterproof, which is really cool. And it's a lot less mess than having to solder them the old-fashioned way, and it just seems to be a lot better. It does take a lot of heat. I have to set my heat gun to like 620 to get enough heat, and it still seems like I could probably turn it up a little higher than that. And it also, oh yeah, this harness also came with this part which puts all the chimes back in, because when you replace the radio, all of the doors open, and you know, chimes, it's a low fuel or whatever, you know, those chimes aren't going to work anymore because that all goes through your original stereo. So is it that big of a deal? I don't know. I wanted to keep it the same, so I went ahead and bought that. It wasn't that much money. It came with the harness. So those 2 harnesses, that's my first step. I got to wire everything up, so match all the wires up. And I have my 2 diagrams. So I have the diagram from the radio and the one showing from the car. So making sure everything is hooked up correctly. And the other thing I got was the antenna adapter. This right here. So you have to have an antenna adapter whenever you replace a stereo, and you have to have an install kit. So this is what the stereo is going to bolt in with. And the only other thing that didn't come with any of this was a swear jar. So I had to make my own swear jar. So there we go. We'll see how much I got to use that. As I said, I have not done this before, so I just did some research, and my car is not very complicated. It doesn't have the stereo controls from the steering wheel or anything like that. It's very simple. So I think I'm going to be okay with everything. And my buddy Eric back in Pennsylvania, he did this professionally. And so yeah, if I have any questions, I might be calling you, Eric. But I hopefully will get this all done and get it done soon, because I'm going nuts with the radio that's in there now. Okay, the first step with the radio is to unhook the negative terminal on the battery. And my battery is in the back of the car. There you can see my spare tire there. And there is the negative terminal on the battery. So I'm just gonna take that off. All right, the next step is to remove the trim around the radio. I have all my trim removal tools, and you gotta grab this one up in here. Oh yeah, it comes off pretty easy. See that? You got the right tools, it makes the job a lot easier. Okay, and down here, I know it can get dicey. I think I have to take, I know I have to disconnect these switches. Oh, there we go. Yeah, cool. All right, so you just have to disconnect. They said do not disconnect the airbag thing, which is right here, which I'm not gonna do. But I am going to disconnect these switches so I can get this trim piece out of the way. Yeah, it came out very easy. You can just get it over top of those tabs. And so there's the antenna here. So that should just unplug. And then there's the wiring harnesses. The one thing I'm confused about is it has like 2 of them here. This is something nobody mentioned on the sites, that there's like 2 here and there's only 1 harness that comes with it. So that has me kind of concerned. Anyway. Okay, ran into a big problem I wasn't expecting. So this is the wiring harness for General Motors for my car that I bought, and it does not fit either one of what I unplugged off of the back of the stereo. Totally different. How is that gonna work? Am I totally off? And this like goes, God knows. Okay, crazy. Wow, major fail. I'm going to have to do some research. Okay, so it's not surprising that the swear jar has some money in it. Oh boy. Yeah, this is more complicated than I was anticipating, but I was anticipating some. Anyway, so I called the local car toys shop. This is what they said I needed. The PAC radio replacement interface. It's the C2RGM11. And so I disconnected the radio harness from the old GM harness that won't work. So this has the 2 black connectors that look like they belong with my car. That's what I saw when I disconnected the radio, so that's a good sign. And all the wires make perfect sense. It also has, so this is what plugs into this box right here. Okay, time to try this again. All right, I got the new harness all wired up. Looks like spaghetti. And okay, so let's take a look. So now, as I stated, we've got the 2 plugs, and we've got 2 plugs coming from the car. Okay, and then we have the other side plug that's going to go into the radio. I've got the radio just sitting on the seat here. The antenna is plugged in, and one thing I'm gonna have to watch, I'm gonna have to kind of push things down in these holes because there's not a whole lot of room in there. you know, the radio goes back, and I'm gonna have to push these in as far as I can get it, because I want to make sure there's enough room for everything. So the time has come to plug these in, and then I also have, let me plug that in now too. Sorry, it's hard to get a good camera angle whenever you got a million things to do here. Okay, so all right, so we have this, which plugs into this. So I'm going to do that. I'm not going to be able to hold the camera while I plug all this in. So let me show you after I get it all plugged in. So hold on. All right, good news. So everything plugged in perfectly. Little tiny nice click on those connectors. Tells me everything is good to go and right. And then I plugged it into the back of the radio. And then the other thing I have to do is the microphone, which has an 1/8 of an inch jack. Goes here. Okay, so that plugs in. I don't know if you can see that. Oh, there we go. So that plugs in right there. So we get everything. We get the antenna. We have the microphone. So that's so you can talk on the phone or use Alexa. That's what that is for. And they give you a nice long wire. So I'm going to feed that down through, because it has this sticky thing. Here's the microphone. So I'm going to push that down through. There's nice big holes here, so it's quite a lot of room. And I can see that I can push the the chimey thing, the thing with all the door chimes and everything, was able to fit down in that hole. So I put it down in there. You can sort of see it. So I plugged it in, and there's room there, and then there's a hole in the back that looks like I'll have enough room to stuff the those connectors, and the antenna can go through that slot there, and try to get as much room as I can to get the radio to fit in there. So I'm not going to be able to hold the camera again while I do all this, so more to come. Hold on. I have everything just sitting here because I want to make sure that it works before I put things in their proper places, right? So the wires I just kind of tucked behind it, and I just hooked the battery back up on the car. So I'm going to put the key in, and let's see if we can hear anything. Here we go. Okay, I hear my chimes. I see a red triangle. It says press volume. Oh, this looks good, huh? I'm feeling good about it. So it's in a weird fuchsia purple. You can change the press knob. Feel good savings across the store. Yay, it's working, it's working, it's working. All right. Organic boneless chicken breast and many more quality finds to support your wellness journey. It is a little complicated as far as the menu and setting it up. So that part is going to take me a while, so I can't do that on the video right now. But I got the radio to play. I don't want to play too much because it'll get pulled off of YouTube, right? But oh my God, it sounds incredible. It already sounds like a million times better than the other radio. I can tell right away. And I tried 2 stations so far, and like the reception seems excellent. Now it's time for some selfless promotion. I'm gonna try the CD player. I'm gonna put in this band called Some Velvet Morning Glories with this great CD called Running to the View. Of course, that's Lisa and I's band. And so let's see if this CD player works. You can find the CD on Bandcamp and iTunes and Spotify and whatever you like to listen to. It's probably on there. We're all over the place. All right, so here's the CD. Oh, let me show you what that looks like. Boy, the sun's out today, believe it or not, in Oregon. Some Velvet Morning Glories. And there's the CD slot. Let's see what happens when we put that in there. Wow, it's smooth. Okay, it says reading. Oh, it comes up with our song title. I can't play too much. It will get pulled off too with our own music. Nice. Right. So this was not fitting correctly, and I thought, okay, I could get my Dremel tool, but when I'm looking at it, I'm like, it's going to get really messy, and it's probably not going to look great. I'm not going to be able to make it totally perfect, right? So I thought, you know what? Let me call and just see if Car Toys have a different brand, right? So I'm thinking this is the Metra brand, and I'm like, if they have the Scosche or some other brand, maybe that would fit. So I thought, let me try that first before I get out my Dremel tool. And I'm so glad I called them. So I called and asked if they had a kit in stock. I just said, do you have a kit for a 2010 HHR? And he said, let me go check. He comes back and says, yes, I do. And I said, well, let me ask, is it a Metra brand? And he said, yes, it is. And I said, oh, well, that's not going to work because that's what I already have and it's not working. He knew right away. He said, you probably bought a 3305. And I checked and said, yeah. And he said, that's what everybody does. This is the most popular one. And it works for almost every GM except the HHR. So again, my car is a little different from other cars. It's crazy. He said you need a 3302, a 953302. He said that should work perfectly. He said they almost look identical, but they're different slightly. It's so annoying. He was like, HHRs are just different. This year is different. So all good to know. So I'm passing this along in the video. So I hope this will help other people because I'm sure everybody's doing the same thing that I'm doing. They're going out and buying this This says that it works. So this is going back to Amazon. So I'm going to take, there's just a couple screws to take it out and swap it out with this and bolt it back up, and let's see if it works. These are in the way. It's hitting against the inside. I don't know if I'll be able to show you. So I'm just going to get my Dremel tool and my multi-tool. I should be able to cut that without too much mess. I'll get my little vacuum out. So more to come. In the words of Borat, much success. It looks great.